Today we're gonna find out what is better, the dungeon or the infinity tower. Let's go. Welcome back guys to another video of AFSS. In this video we are going to be looking at the difference between dungeons and infinity towers in terms of drop. Now, some pros and cons about each of them. You can do a dungeon way more often than an infinity tower if you have alt account. Cooldown right now I believe is like 1 hour, but I'm not sure, something like that. So you could probably do like 2 to 3 dungeons or even more depending on how fast you do it than an infinity tower. So by the time it takes you to do 1 infinity tower, you could have done a lot more dungeons. Keep that in mind. The negative things about dungeons is the drops. Obviously they don't have as much drops as infinity tower, but it's still pretty close after the balancing they did. Today the way we're gonna test it is, right now I'm doing a summer dungeon. You guys can see I am low on both, or I have none of summer dungeons and normal dungeons. So from infinity tower we are going to get normal dungeons, and from infinity tower we are going to get normal rerolls, and from the summer dungeon we are going to get summer rerolls. I believe they have around the same drop rates in a dungeon. So what I mean is, if I get like 100 to 200 summer rerolls from a dungeon, I should be getting the same for normal rerolls as well. So we're gonna do a summer dungeon for the summer rerolls as well as a infinity tower for the normal rerolls and compare the result. I'm gonna skip it, and when we get to our first gold room I will be back with you guys. But one thing I should also add is that in a summer dungeon there is a lot more mobs that spawn, as you guys can see. So even with auto attack it takes like 5 to 6 seconds per room, but in a normal dungeon the mobs are significantly less and it takes like 2 to 3 seconds to clear out the whole room. One thing I did forget to add is that an infinity tower gives a lot more yen the higher the room you go. So if you guys are yen farming as well, infinity tower is definitely the way to go. So that's another good thing about infinity tower. Alright guys, so we have found our first gold room. So we're going to take off auto attack to see the kind of drops we get from each of them. So right now with my max drops team and my luck boost, I have 343 including the Daiso avatar. So we will see and compare. Okay, we got 2 chest rooms, which is pretty average for a dungeon. You can have up to 1 or 3 in a normal room. So let's see what we get. We got 70 summer and 7 rerolls. That's pretty good. That's all right. That's all right. And the second one we got 77 as well as 4. Okay, solid. So in those 2 chests we got about 150 rerolls, which, you know, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. Now in terms of fragments, I recommend you guys to highly do infinity towers, because I'm like 90% certain infinity tower gives more fragments overall than dungeons, because as you guys can see I am maxed out on every other frag except these 2 and this, because I just traded some to my friends. So those are from infinity tower. Infinity towers fragments are really insane. You can get about like, I don't know, 20 to 40 per whole entire gold room, versus in this you can only get like 7 from each gold room. Speaking of gold room, we have our second gold room in the dungeon, and now we shall compare once again the kind of drops we get from a silly old dungeon. All right, the gold room is open. We have 2 chests once again, pretty standard. We get 66, 63 and 14, okay, as well as 67 and 6. Pretty solid, pretty solid. So from 4 chest rooms we have gotten a total of almost 300 rerolls. That's okay, that's pretty decent. If you guys don't know, there will be a new summer update coming this Saturday. There was an AFSS Discord which showed part of the new map, and we do have confirmation that the clone machine and the dupe machine will be staying. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because the clone machine kind of makes the game a little bit too easy for endgame players, but obviously new players and mid-game players heavily enjoy and rely on that clone machine to get their utility team and their damage team. So I guess it's a W for the community overall. I'm just happy we are getting a new summer map. I'm hearing rumors about a new game mode or a new feature that is coming, as well as potentially a new divine and obviously new units. So make sure you guys come by our stream Saturday to enjoy the summer update. We will do some game pass giveaways, some item giveaways, potentially room 50 carries, if we are strong enough. So yeah, make sure you guys stop by stream. And with that, we have our third gold room right in front of us. So it looks like this might be a 3 gold room dungeon, which is pretty average. You can get normally up to 3 to 5 like I said. So let's see, another 2 chest room. Okay, 65 and 10, as well as, so we got, and from total we got 132 and 17 from those 2 chests. So now we're up to 409 rerolls. So the one good thing about a dungeon is you are always guaranteed gold rooms. And you might be like, what do I mean by that? Well, there's always a guarantee you have 3 of these and then a 4th gold room, which is the boss. So if you guys are looking for a guaranteed item source, I would recommend doing dungeons, because in Infinity Tower it's like anywhere from like, I don't know, 8 to 9% chance of it being a gold room. So you could go the entire run without having any gold room, or only like 1 to 2 gold rooms, which would make it useless. So just keep that in mind. And also the dungeon is significantly easier to beat than Infinity Tower, because Infinity Tower, as higher you go, the more difficult the room gets, versus the mobs in here are flat out the same HP. Alright, we have arrived at the boss room. The boss room chest has an increased drop, so everything you get from boss room is like 2 to 3 times better than a normal chest. So right now we have a total of around 400, so we should walk away with like maybe 700, or maybe even like near 1,000. So let's see how well the boss room delivers for us. So with that, the boss is defeated, and we should get at least 3 chests. Yep, we got a whole 4 chests. Okay, so we could walk away with a lot. Let's see how much we get from 1 chest. 148 and 15. That's pretty good. And then we got 177 as well as 13. Okay, goddamn. And then we have 152 and 14. And then the last chest of this dungeon, we get 168 and 19. So let's go see what we got. So after that dungeon, we are going to see the rewards we just got. So we're going to open it up and look at that. We got around 1,050 passive rerolls, and I'm going to go back and see how much we had. We had a total of 6,064 Requiem. So we got around exactly 100 Requiem from that. Okay, that's pretty good, I guess. Well, that is it for the dungeons part of this video. Now we are going to move on, and now we are going to move on to the Infinity Tower. Alright guys, now we are going to do the Infinity Tower and see how much drops we can really get from this. So right now we have 6,290 Requiems and 0 passive tokens, the normal one. So that's how we're going to be basing it off. We need to get more than 1,050 with the same amount of drops. Can we do it? Let's see. So this is going to take a little bit, so I'm probably just going to cut to every time we do get a gold room. So hopefully we can get, I don't know, like at least 10 to 15 gold rooms. So I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, we're going to talk about some pros and cons of the Infinity Tower. So obvious pro, a lot of chests, right? And the big ones, you can get auto attack for free, as well as 2 times artifact. And speaking of, we do have our first chest rooms. Now these chest rooms are equipped with, I think, 10 chests, and you guys can see that 163 plus like 40-ish Requiems from 1 chest room. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot. So we need like 10 of those, and then we will be higher than the dungeon. Like I said, you can get auto attack as well as 2 times artifact from this. 2 times artifact is pretty good. It's not the best. The buffs could be a little bit more, but it is better than nothing. And another chest room, look at that, 2 in less than 10. So look at the fragments. So you guys see what I mean? You get a lot more fragments from Infinity Tower than from dungeons. So depending on what you need, whether it's reroll, oh my god, another chest room. Well, this is gonna be probably a really lucky run, because we already have 450 out of the 1,000 we needed to beat it in less than 10 rooms. So might need to end the video early, guys. I'm just kidding. We're gonna continue and see exactly how much we can get on one run. And like I was saying earlier, you can actually farm some yen the higher the room you go, from like room 100 upwards, depending on how much yen you have. You guys can farm a decent amount of yen while getting some insane loot. And speaking of insane loot, there is already another chest. Holy, Infinity Tower is broken. So depending on how fast you can go, you guys can get like room 50 in like 7 minutes, I believe. and then so for room 10 it could be like 14 minutes. So it does that 14 minutes you can complete a whole dungeon, even less than that. So oh my god, another chest room, are you kidding me? Well, in terms of rerolls, look at that, already 740 and we're at room 20 only. So yeah, you can do a lot more dungeons in the time it takes you to do one Infinity Towers, or you can do both. You know, you can do Infinity Tower for like 30 minutes and then do dungeon for another 30 minutes while waiting for it, if you're on that grinding session. And I think Infinity Tower, just because it's a little bit brand new, it's more fun to do right now, obviously, because everyone's been doing dungeons for so long. So eventually they will both have that feeling of, oh, I don't want to do it. But right now Infinity Tower is a lot more fun because you can get more rewards. You can get auto attack, 2x artifact, insane amount of fragments, end game items, and some exclusive items, because you can't get these from dungeons, the avatar level up and normal level up, so doubler and the normal. So obviously it has more pros right now, but all we care about is the drop rate. So it looks like my prediction was correct. You can do about 50 rooms in about 7 minutes if you guys just focus and don't have any distractions, because right now we're at room 47 with 20 seconds left. Can we make it before 7 minutes? I don't think so. I think we're gonna be short a little bit because of these damn doors. Oh, speaking of damn doors, we have a chest room. Hey, oh my god, double chest rooms. Wow, I've never got a triple chest room though, maybe one day. So right now we have gotten a total of basically the same amount of rerolls, but this has been a really insane run. Normally you don't get this many chests. You get like on average 7 to 8 chests. This has been already like 10 chest rooms within 50 waves. So this is a great run. I guess you guys are seeing now the drop rates, especially for rerolls in Infinity Tower versus dungeon. So a whole dungeon, remember that dungeon only had 3 rooms, 3 gold rooms and the 4th one including the boss room, and they gave us around 1,000. If it was a really good dungeon that can have 5 gold rooms plus the boss room, we could have probably had around 2,000 rerolls. So just keep that in mind as well. And then one obvious advantage of doing dungeons that I forgot about is the incubator upgrades. The incubator upgrades are actually very useful if you guys are leveling up your units. So I would definitely recommend doing at least 100 dungeons to get that upgrade. Another gold room, let's go. Yep, I think we have officially passed the number of rerolls we got, and then the fragments are just stupid. Oh my god, so many gold, this is just crazy. Oh, one thing I did also forget to mention is that you can get permanent stat boosts from doing Infinity Tower. What I mean by that, if you don't know, is you can get a +1 to your stats. So you guys can see right now it says 7 times XP. So with the game pass and this event I should be having a 6 times, but because I got that permanent stat boost I actually got 7 times. So those are some things to look out for as well. There's no indicator that lets you know you get those, so once in a while just check up and do some math to see if you have those boosts or not. The best boost right now is obviously time, because it's so minimum. The rest is so minimum, because if you have like 30 drops and you get the boost for drops, it'll go to 31, which is not going to make much difference. But if you get time, every increment of time makes a big difference. So that's why time and XP is the most valuable, and then afterward damage is also pretty good. Most endgame players can get to around room 120 pretty easily, and even free-to-play players can get to around room 80 easily, and majority of the chests actually happen from room 1 to like 80. So you don't even have to get all the way to like high ends, because the higher you go, the chest rates don't increase. The only thing that it increases is the drops. For example, I think the drops for like auto attack and 2 times artifact increase the higher the room you go, but I believe the chest rooms have a flat rate of 9% or something like that, no matter how high you go. So we are almost at room 100 with 13 minutes into this Infinity Tower. This is, oh, I fell. This is pretty average. I could be a little bit faster, but since I'm recording a video and talking to you guys, it's a little bit slower than usual, but you guys can definitely make it to like room 100 within like 10 minutes, because I've definitely done that before. Oh yes, chest room at room 98. Pretty good. Okay, another chest room at room 108. And now you guys can start seeing my DPC team is not one-shotting these. So eventually we will have to switch to our damage team just to clear out these a little bit quicker. So just keep that in mind as you guys go up the tower. When you're using your damage team, you just have to make sure that when you peep up the stairs, you don't actually destroy the chest if there is. So what I like to do is just look here, and if the chest like spawns like right here, you can tell it's just a chest room. So just be careful your damage team doesn't actually take some of the chest, because it is possible to do so. Speaking of chest, we now have another chest room. So this time my drop's going to be a little bit lower because of the HP of these health. So I have my carry units as well as my drop team. So we won't be getting as much, but we should still be getting a good amount of drops from these. Like I said, there are 10 chests per room, and you guys can see how much you get per chest right here. Actually, you get around 3 to like 5 fragments per chest, and some rerolls. These are stacked, so you get like 10 rerolls from chests. So within like 10 chests, you guys can get upwards of 100 plus with this amount of drops. Obviously the drops vary depending on your multiplier. So after room 120 is when it starts getting kind of difficult for most players. So if you guys want that auto attack or 2x artifact, this is like the highest chance you will have getting it if there's a chest room between these two rooms. And speaking of chests, look at that, another one. So from one chest we get a total of 3, 13, 3, and 1. And I think we are going to end the video right here, as well as my team cleanups the rest of this chest. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. For a grand total of 1,790 passive tokens, and I don't know, maybe a couple hundred of these as well. So you guys can see the different drop rates between these two thingies. This is from dungeons and this is from Infinity Tower. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.